one of the codes, one of the big codes that, or at least got a lot of publicity and is, of course, an Olympic sport, is fencing. And we've had fencing on the show a couple of times. You'll remember that we've spoken to the president of Fencing Western Cape, Patrick Collins, on a number of occasions, as well as some of the superstars that he's been coaching, including the Yantolo twins, who you will, of course, remember that are doing so very well in fencing, even with continental rankings at the top of their pile. But at a local front, closer to, well, in Cape Town, at UCT, is the chairperson of UCT Fencing, Alexandra Lancaster. And she's, of course, bringing athletes through the ranks as part of the UCT club structure, which forms part of the Western Cape fencing and the athletes that are coming through the ranks. Alex joins us on the line now. Alex, nice to have you on the line. How are things there with you?
Yeah, hi JP. They're going well. Fencing is still keeping going even with COVID. So yeah, it's nice to be back doing sport.
Yeah, we've had a couple of interviews, Alex, over the last few weeks. We know that fencing is one of the sports that was managed, that was able to return to some level of training under these very strict conditions. At UCT yourself, you're the chairperson there. Have you guys been able to be active to up to some sort of point?
Yeah, so during higher levels of lockdown, we were able to keep active through online coaching, which, although not ideal, it helped us keep fit and keep with a training program. And then recently we've gone back to in-person coaching through the Blues Fencing Club in Cape Town. And although we've been keeping to very small groups, so it's only like 5 of us at a time, it's been great to be back to fencing.
So tell us a little bit about UCT's fencing club itself. How many athletes? Are they all students? We also know that with the regulations around COVID, a lot of the students haven't been allowed back on campus.
Yeah, so UCT Fencing Club is all students, and it's completely student run. Most of our fencers start from first or second year, and they've never done fencing before. And we take them right from the basics, how to hold a blade, everything. And then we go right through, and we've had some fencers do incredibly well. Last year, UCT won the university fencing competition, which was fantastic.
Now, let's just go back a step. Let's go back a few years. Our athletes that are in the Western Cape, are we bringing them through the ranks? Is fencing becoming more popular? Certainly, what I've heard from your president is that that athletes are signing up and finding out or asking the question about how to start.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, when I started fencing, because I started with the UCT club, I started right from beginning. I'd never done any fencing before. I didn't realize it was still a current sport when I started. And yeah, I joined and I really enjoyed it, and I'm still here. So, but yeah, we've taken students right from knowing nothing and taken them up to placing in provincial competitions, which is fantastic. Patrick has some fencers that are doing absolutely wonderfully. As you said, the Yantolo twins are doing really great. He has a bunch of other fencers that are also doing really great. And yeah, it's just really nice to see, because I've been here for, well, not for very long, but for a while. It's really nice to see the improvement in fencers. So you see fencers that joined after you did, barely knowing how to hold a blade properly, and now they're doing really well. They're placing in competitions. So yeah, we are getting some signups, and it's really encouraging. I think fencing's doing great.
What was it that attracted you to fencing? I keep wondering why. If I mean, there's definitely sort of an appeal to it. You know, people holding a blade. There's an element of danger. There's a lot of excitement. It's high speed. It's got an element of glamour to it as well. When you look at it on TV, it's a very sort of sellable sport. It's exciting to watch. It's fast. It's action and all that. What was it that attracted you to fencing to begin with?
I mean, initially it was that they had swords, which is from talking to a lot of the UCT fencers, they have swords. But then once you try it out, it's really like it's exciting when you're actually in it. And it's unlike any other sport I've ever played because although it's a solo sport, it's also like there's a team element to it. Everyone's really encouraging. And when you're doing it, it's exciting. There's strategy involved. There's a level of fitness. It's like dancing with a sword. It's an incredible sport.
And talk to us a little bit about the progression, because clearly we've got a lot of people that are watching the show and following you on Facebook, and even in some cases live streams, which we're hearing a lot about nowadays. But of course, it's, as I say, it's an Olympic sport, so there's a lot of attraction for fencing. But what is the sort of progression? If an athlete, like you say, you've got students at UCT, they sign up at UCT Fencing Club. What's the progression from a club to district to province to national to Africa to the Olympics? How do you, is that the pathway?
Yeah, so generally a fencer will start right from the beginning, and the first competition that they'll attend will be, well, at least for UCT, it will be a UCT internal competition. Sometimes we'll have friendly competitions with Stellenbosch so that our beginners can get some competition experience. And then you'll join a provincial ranking competition, which they're open to any levels of fencers. And it's great experience. It's a really friendly atmosphere. And you also get to fence fences that you've never fenced before, which is also a new experience because you start to get used to your club members. And then from there, once you start winning or placing in the provincial competitions, you then join your national ranking competitions. And at that point, once you become nationally ranked, you can then be selected for the national team. And then the national team will go to Africa Champs and those sorts of competitions, which the Umtolos went to. And then from there, once you start performing at that level, you can then join the Olympic ranking competitions, which are a variety of competitions that they use to determine who goes to the Olympics. And from there, obviously, there's the Olympics and World Champs and all sorts of things there. But yeah, it all starts right at club level.
Quite a pathway to follow. Alex, what's next for you now? We know it's COVID. Obviously, things are very restricted at the moment, but it's also a festive holiday season. Students are taking a break, but I'm sure that there's quite a lot of planning for 2021.
Yeah, so currently as a university club, we're focused on sign-ups and recruitment for next year, which is what we would normally be doing at this time of year, regardless of COVID. And it's not just UCT, all the university clubs are doing the same thing. But then from an inter-club perspective, we're still chatting with Blues a lot and with Stellenbosch University Fencing Club. And so restrictions allowing, we're hopefully going to be getting back into more regular training from next year and hopefully getting some inter-club competitions going.
Okay, so if I'm a UCT student and I want to sign up, it's obviously very easy. And there must be a sports facility there at UCT. I need to get a hold of you and I can sign up.
Yeah, so if you're a UCT student and you already have access to PeopleSoft, and yeah, you can then sign up through your PeopleSoft, or you can contact the University Fencing at fencing@uct.ac.za. And we're available there. And if you're not a UCT student and you are still interested in fencing, then you can find out more about fencing at safencer.co.za.
Fantastic. All right, Alex, we'll leave it at that. We'll say thanks to you for joining us. And we'll, of course, remind you and everybody else out there, stay safe. Conditions are very difficult at the moment. And we look forward to finding out more about how the athletes are doing in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great.
Thanks, Alex. There we go, folks. Alex Lancaster, the chairperson of UCT Fencing. They're also training at the Blues Fencing Club at the moment. And it's great to see our Western Cape athletes staying engaged and staying connected and, of course, coming through the ranks. And we're looking forward to all these high-performance athletes and their success stories. And we'll keep tracking that. Folks, we'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll carry on talking about sport in the Western Cape. Back in a sec.